What is happening? What is up? It's the NFL Week 8 early look. The video I know you guys are always waiting for. It's consistently one of my highest watched videos every single week. Let's get to it. Quick bit of news. If you haven't heard, I've started a VIP Discord. The Discord is free to get into. The picks are VIP. I've partnered with BetBucket. Should be right here in the camera. You should be able to see it. I will put a link down below in the comments. Click into the Discord. Come join us for free. If you like what you see, check out the premium VIP channels. The first game on the schedule is the Thursday night game between the Vikings and the Rams. Of course, we're interested in Kyren Williams' touchdown. The guy scored every single week this season. Why wouldn't you go back to the well? But it's a little too juicy. You got to find something else to parlay it with. But use it in SGPs. It's a great parlay piece. But I've got another Rams play I'm going to take a look at. Now, this play is 100% contingent on the Cooper Kupp news. We need news from this guy. They're shelving him potentially for a trade to a contender. Yes, I'm looking at you, Kansas City. Now, this is contingent on him playing, on him having a full snap count. I don't know what's going to happen. Pay attention to news and notes before this and before you lock it in. But I think it's safe to do something like an alt line for Cooper Kupp, 4+, or even the 5+ right here with Kyren Williams touchdown gets you into plus odds. I like this play a lot. I also like a little sprinkle on the Cooper Kupp anytime touchdown. Again, if we're going to see full Cooper Kupp, full action Cooper Kupp, if we're going to see a 26% snap rate or maybe none at all because the Chiefs are making a move to go for the three-peat, then I would say just fade this and let's go in a different direction. The flip side of the ball, even though he just let us down by like 6 yards this weekend, the narrowest of margins, and he actually got a ball thrown to him with like a minute left and it went over his head. Sam Darnold overthrew him and Justin Jefferson wasn't able to catch it. JJ is in a good spot to go over his 5.5 receptions prop. He's been over in 4 of 6 games, including 4 straight with 6, 6, and 7 in his last 4 games. I think that's a decent spot to go to. You could play that as a straight. Or if you want to run out a little parlay here, go JJ 70+, Sam Darnold 175+. I bet you could probably find this on another book at like a -130, -135. I think that's a fine option as well. But really for me, this game isn't as much about straights as it is about parlaying and building out a nice big SGP, which I will do in the Discord. So drop into it and take a look at what we come up with. I almost forgot to talk about it. I am interested in Matthew Stafford's higher than 237.5 passing yards. However, this is again contingent on Cooper Kupp. This is with Cooper Kupp. If he doesn't play, if we find out Kupp's not going to play, then I have no interest in this play. With Kupp and without Puka in the lineup, Stafford has exceeded this line in 75% of his last 20 games. In home games, that number jumps to 13 of his last 15 games going over the line, including 7 of 8 primetime games, home or away. The way to attack the Vikings is through the air, despite what Jahmyr Gibbs may have shown you last week, as evidenced by the Vikings giving up the 4th most receiving yards to opposing wide receivers. I like Stafford to go over this line for the reasons I've said if Cooper Kupp is in the lineup. I'm targeting that Green Bay and Jacksonville game, and I'll tell you why. Jacksonville's passing defense is atrocious. It's absolutely god-awful, worst in the league in my opinion, and the stats pretty much back that up. I like Jordan Love to go over 28.5 pass attempts if that is where his line comes out at. There isn't an official line yet, but I did some research on the historical lines, and I imagine he'll be right around that spot. If it is, smash the over. The Jags have allowed the 2nd most passing yards to opposing quarterbacks behind only the Ravens. The only reason I'm on this line and not so much the passing yardage line is because I think that there's a chance that the Green Bay Packers blow out the Jags and that Jordan Love only has to play 3 quarters essentially in this game before coming in and just handing the ball off to Josh Jacobs. Love has exceeded this line in 16 of his last 20 games. And if the Jags move the ball, again, looking at you, Brian Thomas Jr., then I think that he continues to throw the ball and he'll have to exceed, and he'll end up throwing the ball enough to exceed this line. I also am interested a little bit in his over 1.5 passing touchdowns, but I'll touch on that and the analysis in another time. But that's another thing you could take a look at if you're building out your SGPs this week. This Falcons and Tampa Bay game has a lot of potential. Now, we obviously have some injury news. We lost Chris Godwin. His ankle was literally facing the wrong way. You never like to see that. Slot Godwin was playing phenomenal this year. Just prayers for easy recovery, for a nice recovery, a bounce back from Chris Godwin. Stinks to see it at any time. Stinks even worse to see it in a contract year for the player after a guy was playing so well. But I know some team will take a shot on him and give him a decent contract there. Hopefully he gets well really soon. Now, you also had Mike Evans, who got injured. He came into the game banged up with his hamstring, hurt it again on a deep touchdown pass that he wasn't able to bring in. And then he went out too. So we have to see who's playing in this game, because if the Buccaneers are so banged up that they can't compete, that will obviously change things. However, my interest isn't even necessarily on the Bucs side. My interest is on the Atlanta side. Drake London, over 5.5 receptions and or the anytime touchdown, I think, are in play. He's hit his over receptions prop in every game this year except for week 1 against the Steelers. Bucs are allowing the 4th most catches to opposing wide receivers against them. Part of that is their defense hasn't been playing well against the pass. Part of that is they find themselves in a lot of shootouts. Teams throw against them as evidenced by their 3rd highest targets allowed to opposing wide receivers, meaning teams have just found their weakness and they're continuing to attack it. Also, they're in shootouts. So if the Bucs can score and force Atlanta's hand on the road, Atlanta will throw the ball more. That gives Drake London more chances to exceed the receptions prop. And as I said, little sprinkle on the anytime touchdown. Last but not least, the game of the week, the Colts and the Texans. My goodness, this has the potential to be a phenomenal game. I don't care if it's in Houston. I don't even care what the line is at. Irrelevant and erroneous. I don't care at all. All right. The Colts are going to come in this game and play their butts off. Now, I don't know if they're going to win because it's a tough matchup, but my heart tells me they want to win this. My heart tells me they're going to win this is what I meant. My heart tells me that the Colts win this game, and I'll do you one better too. Anthony Richardson, a beautiful prop, over 37.5 rushing yards, is available on Prizepicks. Richardson has exceeded this line in 3 of the 5 games he's played in the NFL when healthy. One of those 2 misses, he ended with 37 yards, a bad beat if you were betting on it in that game. The Texans have allowed 197 rushing yards on the season to opposing quarterbacks. All the rushing quarterbacks that the Texans have faced this year have exceeded their line. Richardson already, Caleb Williams, Josh Allen, and Drake May all have exceeded the line. Richardson, coming back from injury last week, did not look slow, did not look like he was hesitant to run. Ripped off, I think, 59 yards rushing, including like a 20-plus yarder. He's a beast. He's a monster. He's like Derrick Henry on steroids. I like Anthony Richardson to exceed this line and run somebody over in the process, over 37.5 rushing yards. You can find that available on Prizepicks right now. Please do me a favor. Leave a subscription for me. Like and comment. You know the algorithm. You know what the algorithm needs to see from you. They need to see comments. They need to see likes. And most importantly, you got to give me a subscription. Thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully it helps you. Hopefully it helps educate you and line your pockets so that you can continue to bet smart and win more. The gypsy had no idea where her hairnet was. The gypsy had no idea where her hairnet was.